On with the plot. Future Soviet Premier Mikhail Gorbachev has hired generically ruggedly handsome American PI, one Mr. Garner, note the lack of a first name, it's sort of important, to investigate the Angels at a cost of $25 a day. It's the olden days, the depression is rampant, that's a lot of money. And he takes it stating, well, for $25 a day, I'll believe anything you like. Well, sir, you are a terrible PI. You're meant to get facts, weigh them up, cross-examine, and come to a balanced conclusion. You do not operate on blind faith. That is quite literally the exact opposite of your job description. Anyway, still, he goes to investigate the hotel, and quite how Gorbachev knew this as a hive activity is never actually addressed. But inside the building, he sees a sign on a dorm for an S. Garner. Oh my god, that is it him? His brother? His dad? You see, we have no idea of his first name. Now, according to the credits, it was Sam, but at this point in time, we only know his surname. So, but still, you can see what appears to be his coat and his hat. Except it isn't his hat. Look closely, one on the head has a band around it, one on the peg doesn't. There's no one actually, proof watch this to check these sort of things. Still, getting sidetracked by his two arts, he hears a voice saying, they're coming for you. They're going to send you back. Yeah, about that, you had your entire life to wait for this exact moment. You had nothing else better to do but wait for this to happen. And you say some vague, stupid bullshit. All you had to do is explain the situation coherently and concisely and properly. But no, you fucked up the most important part of your life. Twice. Still, are you ready for a chase scene, boys and girls? Just to remind you, this is a chase scene where the pursuers are literally immobile. Just think about that for a second. Oh no, he's cornered on the roof. Well, that's what you get when you run upstairs when you're trying to outrun something. And there's the baddest of all of the angels. It's the Statue of Liberty. Surprise! It's an angel, and everyone is about to get... Hang on. No, just hang on. Just stop. Wait, back up and think about this 1 second. Just think about this. There's so many things completely wrong with it, and, well, I'm going to go through them all because they make the plot unintelligible. I mean, the first one is so blindingly obvious, I shouldn't even have to point it out. So, every night, week, and month, old lady Liberty just goes for a walk to inner New York, touches someone, and ambles back to her base. And nobody notices this, nobody looks out the window, she wasn't exactly stealthy or even fast. And nobody saw this. Just think about that, seriously. Secondly, what do we know of the race of the angels? Well, in Blink, when they're first introduced, we know that they can't move when watched, and they survive by living off of your residual time energy thing when they touch you. Then in the next appearance, they can move, they were just apparently lazy in the last one, and they break people's necks, which completely destroys all that made them interesting and scary and even decent in the first place. It's quite amazing. I mean, even George Lucas has handled his source material with more consideration and subtlety than that. But also, in that one, we learnt that that which contains a picture of an angel itself becomes an angel. This was genius for two reasons. I mean, the first reason, being a man, the first question I ask any new interesting premise is, how can I have sex with it? Followed by, do they do it with their eyes closed? Can I get it pregnant? But those questions were rendered completely obsolete, because the way they breed is through the photos, clearly. Now, the statues, I mean, they do occasionally, but not massively, get photographed, so it's a good way of them actually keeping their numbers up without bringing attention to themselves. Genius. Also in Blink, the event we never saw was that the Doctor and Martha getting sent back to 1969 in the first place. And there was a question of how did that happen. And of course, Sally Sparrow, who by the way was played by Carey Mulligan, strange, gave the Doctor a photo of an angel in a pack of research. So if you join the dots up, you can come to the conclusion that the angel came to life, sent the Doctor and Martha back to 1979, and that is how they learnt about the TARDIS, and thus the plot begins again. It's all cyclical. It's actually quite clever, and kudos to Stephen Moffat for that, if it was indeed intentional. But if a picture of an angel becomes an angel, and the Statue of Liberty is an angel, well, that statue is like the most photographed thing in the world. Postcards, tourist photos, establishing shot in any piece of media set in New York, ever. And every single one of them will become an angel. And it's not going to be a small angel, which you normally get, it's going to be a massive one, because it becomes the thing that it's a photo of. So you're going to have massive statues of Liberty emerging from photos everywhere. And they're going to rise up and destroy humanity. And humanity being what it is that they're again going to take photo of these rampaging beasts, which is then going to breed again. It's going to be an exponential crisis, which in turn would be a damning satire as to the photographic nature that humanity lives in nowadays. That would be a much better plot. Moving on. Why build a hotel in Battery Park? Oh, Battery Park, and it's like the people of batteries. Genius! Okay, so they needed to keep the humans there so the statue could come across and feed off them, right? That was like the plot, but would it not make more sense to bring the people to her? Is that not the entire point of Landmark, that people go to it? The angels really haven't thought this plan through at all, have they? So, ignoring the fact this plot is literally impossible. And do you remember the third season one about Daleks in Manhattan? I forget what it was called, but the episode was about, well, it was Daleks in Manhattan, and it was set in 1930. So just 8 years apart, we have Daleks and angels in the same city abducting people for their own continued existence. That's just ridiculous. Nobody noticed two iconic scary races living next door and not noticing each other? Did they not run into each other when getting the paper? And also, finally, why New York? I mean, yes, the Statue of Liberty is the most iconic statue in the world. That's a fact. So it makes sense to set it there. But she was tangential to the plot. She was only there to feed off of people, and you didn't even do that. She literally did nothing more but hang around in the background. Her role could have been switched out or even removed, and nothing would have changed. As such, the setting was irrelevant to the story. As for the setting, yes, you had a PI doing some film noir stuff whilst talking out the side of his mouth. But aside from that, there was no use of the setting or period. The plot could have taken place on the back of a walrus made of styrofoam and nothing would have changed. So, why New York? Well, clearly Doctor Who is a growing market in the States, and this is a direct result of it. I mean, only 2 weeks ago we had it set in the Wild West, and last year the series opened and finished in America. But Depression-era New York isn't all of America, and it seems baffling that we're there again. And America is such a big place with many different cultures, many different stuff going on, and if only there was a different setting which had a more fitting angel-centric name. I mean, still, set it in 1938 with the Daleks on the East Coast, and the Angels on the West Coast, no doubt having epic battles in the medium of rap. Anyway, that's a fundamental problem with this one. I mean, yes, it has a very good emotional heart at the centre, but the body that surrounds it is a twisted mess of contortions and spasms, rendering the goodness inside rather mute. As such, everything else I have to say just seems pretty petty by comparison. But here we go regardless. So the credits roll, and does anyone else notice the logos keep changing every week? Is there any meaning there? And the episode is called The Angels Take Manhattan. No, they had a block of fats. Obnoxious chavs have told more believable tales, but I suppose the Angels in the poorly maintained apartment block just doesn't have quite the same ring to it now, does it? Still, our 3 intrepid heroes have got the entire universe to see. All of it. And they're sat in New York reading a book. Not even past or future New York, just straight up regular New York. That right there, friends, is a brilliant use of a time machine. And the Doctor is reading a book by someone called Melody Malone. I wonder who the hell that could be. And now he has a new saying. That's Yowza, but I thought his catchphrase was Geronimo. Why are you needlessly complicating things? And Rory states that only you could fancy someone in a book. Right. Well, Rory, Christian Grey, Edward Cullen, Jacob Black, Gale Hawthorne, Peter Mellark, and in some extreme cases Snape. And that's not just a female thing, men do it too. I mean, any book that has a description of a female character with a cracking pair of tits, they're probably going to fantasize about her. Anyway, still, the Doctor's defense this, I just like the cover. Doctor, there is a saying about that. Still, he hates endings, so to resolve that, he tears out the last page. Because, as we all know, the last page has the answer to the crime. It's never about 20 pages before the end, with the last 20 pages wrapping up character arcs and subplots. Seriously, name me one book where the murderer is revealed on the final page, and I'll show you a poorly written book that ends abruptly with no satisfying resolution of the subplot, no justification of the person's actions, and no character arc resolution whatsoever. And while all this is going on, Rory is tasked to fetch coffee. Rory fucks his task up. But not a coffee shop was closed, or I spilt it, or any normal, regular coffee-making mistake. No, it's I accidentally went back in time. A stone child that can't move when in sight somehow got the jump on me in broad daylight in one of the busiest cities in the world with people all around. That just happened, Rory. Your actions are as shocking as the writing. Still, Rory gets transported to nighttime and runs into River. His first response is, "You're Melody?" Well, son, it was either her, James Corden, or Canton, and, well, she's the only woman, and she used a birth name. So you really shouldn't be surprised at all. And why exactly did River find him? Her mission was to investigate the Angels, right? So she appeared in New York, and her plan was to be taken to the mod boss. But she instead sees her dad and decides now is the best time for a catch-up, rather than, I don't know, doing a job. Also, the word on the underworld was that she investigated Angels. So how long has she been here doing this? And are the Angels that common known that it's enough to actually get proper paid work for it? And also, by meeting Rory, she got him abducted and then harassed by children, which in turn meant he went to Battery Park, which in turn meant he therefore died. So that basically got the plot started. River could have met the guy herself, and then summoned the Doctor herself, and left Rory just to gormlessly walk around achieving nothing, as per normal. Anyhow, she comes to the conclusion that he has an angel kept hostage. It is his most prized possession that he doesn't want anyone to see, either people, presumably because they'd be jealous, or his girlfriend, because she'd be jealous for a different reason. And she pulls back the curtain, and she claims it's the girlfriend option. Was that a sex reference with an angel? Because if so, the angel should really keep her mouth shut.